Okay, so welcome back. I know it has been a long day, lots of fruitful discussions. So just bear with me for the last one, but I promise the expert's gonna be very interesting and the discussion is gonna be very interesting. So right away, I would like to invite Gabriela Wurstel, Multilateral Affairs Director at FMC Corporation, and she's going to give us insights to the panel discussion. Please, Gabriela.
Digital is the future. So good morning again. Good afternoon. I mean, we're literally standing between you and dinner. So we promise we'll keep this very interesting, and I'm very excited because actually we're going to talk about the single most important and most exciting thing in the entire agricultural space, which is innovation and technology. And this is really the solution, and it's something which we all, I think, agree should look into. And I wanted to start with this gentleman. So who knows who he is? Please? Bill Gates, of course. And who is Bill Gates? The founder of Microsoft. What else? A philanthropist. Who else? What else? Visionary. Exactly, but not only. He's a visionary, he's a philanthropist, he's an investor. He is actually the biggest farm owner in the US. He's the biggest farm owner. He owns a lot of acres. And I do not think this is a coincidence. I think this is on purpose. If a visionary, a Silicon Valley guy, the founder of Microsoft, is investing in agriculture, I believe this is because he believes that agriculture is a field worth investing in technology and in innovation, correct? But agriculture is really not just another sector. It's a very complex sector because, first of all, farmers are working to get food to their own families, and they are working to get food to the world. So when they think about innovation, they think about something which can actually be useful very concretely. You might have heard of this expression, betting the farm. You know, in the case of the farmers, every time they decide to invest or not invest, they are actually betting the farm. They may actually lose everything if they do the wrong thing. So I was hearing this morning a debate on whether farmers are innovators or not, or risk adverse. I think they are risk adverse for good reasons, but I think they're also innovators because innovation is at the core of what they do. Agriculture has been there forever. For many years, it was the only way of actually getting food. And it was hard work, it was difficult, it was complex. But then innovation came. And when we look at the things that happened since the 1800s, all this is innovation, right? The reaper, the thresher, the automobile that was applied to the farm, the tractor, the hydraulic engine, all these things actually made it easier for farmers to do their jobs. And so they can grow more food. It's still very tough, very complex, but innovation is there. And so I am convinced that farmers and the agricultural sector is by definition an innovative sector, because those farmers who don't follow, they go out of business. As simple as that. So this is what we're going to talk about this afternoon. But it's more complex than that because, you know, we discussed agriculture is the sector that feeds the world. It's about, you know, doing the right investments. But we also know that the situation is very complex because the world's hunger is going up, right? People are hungry, even though we never produce more food than today. But not everybody is hungry. The people that are hungry are mainly those in net food importer countries, in places like Africa, for example, or some places in Asia, right? So these are the people who need the technology to grow more food. And at the same time, these are the countries and the people more affected by climate change, because as you can see, climate change is decreasing yields in the agricultural sector in many countries that are actually net food importers. So complex, right? And by the way, these countries that are hungry and that are suffering from climate change are not the ones who cause climate change. So what do we do about all this? And here is where innovation, technology comes into play, because there is this old saying, when complicated, keep it simple. And the way of keeping it simple is to adapt the technology and the innovation to actually meet the needs of the farmers worldwide. And the needs of the farmers may not be the same in Europe as in Africa, but they are still important technological needs. And so what is it that we need from innovation? It's not just any innovation. We need sustainable productivity growth. We need more productivity per acres, and we need climate resilience. So this is what technology should achieve. And so the future may look like this. It's actually the present more than the future. We have drones that act as little pollinators. We have apps that allow farmers to know what's coming, to basically know the future. We have robots that lend a hand in the farming. So all this is bringing change. So the question is, how do we ensure that whatever innovation we promote is actually what farmers need? And I wanted to give you just some very concrete examples of what my company is doing in this field. So I work for a company called FMC. We are an agricultural sciences company. So we are basically an innovation and R&D company. So we are convinced that we have the capability to support farmers to become economically more sustainable, but also to become environmentally more sustainable. But we are also convinced that we cannot do this alone. Nobody can do this alone. Not even Bill Gates can do this alone. So we have, for example, a venture capital arm that is called FMC Venture that actually works with startups and early seed stage companies that are doing amazing things in the field of agriculture. And I could talk about this longer, but I don't know how long I have, but I will not. But there are some examples, for example, the work with pheromones. So pheromones are these naturally occurring components that female insects issue in order to tell male insect that they are available for reproduction. And this goes, I don't know if any of you were this morning at the presentation of Augustus when he asked the question, is sex sustainable? Well, in this case, sex is not sustainable because these insects that are harmful for the crops are, they continue reproducing. So pheromones actually trick them into thinking that there are females looking for reproduction when they are not, so they don't reproduce. And so this is a very sustainable way of controlling pests because they just don't reproduce. And because it's so targeted, it doesn't affect the biodiversity, it doesn't affect the bees or other good insects that are out there. And by the way, this work is very important because FAO has assessed that 40% of crops around the world are lost to pests. So important. Then we're doing many other things with amazing companies on micropeptides that are also biological ways of controlling some herbs. It's for crops that actually have become resistant to synthetic herbicides. But also we have to think about access, because access it's really a problem. Smallholder farmers do not necessarily have the access to finance which allow them to access technology. So we are working with an amazing fintech company called Trive in Brazil, who's actually looking into ways of assessing the needs of farmers using artificial intelligence and very complex stuff that actually allows them to get access to this credit without going into the regular financial system that will look at their credit score and basically say, no way, we're not lending you money. So we're doing a pilot in Brazil to help them access this technology. And other things, for example, well, when we talk about, and I think we will have some of the speakers today probably talking a lot more about digital. So we have a technology called ARC, which basically uses artificial intelligence and data science to predict the future. So it allows farmers to know what's coming in terms of pests up to a week in advance, so they can know exactly what type of inputs they need to apply. So this saves inputs, water, protects the soils, and of course saves them money. So these are some of the things that are out there, but I think it would be very, very interesting to hear about all these things from all the speakers and your questions, because there is a lot to be done in terms of innovation and technology to actually help farmers produce more using less. So I look forward to the discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gabriela, so much. So please join us into the panel. And right away, I'm calling for the other participants. Please, Daniel Kopat, Director of Agri-Food DIG, Slovenia. Professor Dr. Vilma Atkočiūnienė, Professor at the Department of Business and Rural Development Management of the Faculty of Bioeconomy Development and Vilnius Vytautas Magnus University Agriculture Academy. Associated Professor Eglė Vaičiukynaitė, Kaunas Technology University, Associated Professor of Practice and co-founder and CEO of Neuromarketing Artificial Intelligence Lab. And Gytis Junevičius, representative of Lithuanian EDIG for the agri-food, energy, and the remaining sector. Thank you so much. So right away, I would like to start from the DIGs, EDIGs. We just listened to Gabriela's very nice insights, presenting what do we need and who is working with the farmers, why we need that, and why we cannot leave the farmers behind. So I'll start with you, Daniel. So what is, for example, DIG, and how farmers can be working with the DIG? And from your perspective, what kind of challenges you're already seeing for the agri-food sector?
Thanks a lot for this question. But first, I would like to start by congratulating you for an excellent event. Again, you're getting better and better. I always learn, apart from sustainability and the question around what is sustainable and what is not. Back to the question, well, what we bring to the farmer is basically what we strive in the Digital Innovation Hub is to focus on bringing tangible technologies and applicable technologies into real situations and real life, which is extremely difficult because farming is a pretty traditional sector. Just for your imagination, or so that you can better understand the figures, we are coming from a small rural region of about 120,000 people living there, and we have around 5,500 farmers. So it's a very small farming communities, and according to the digital transformation agenda, nobody should be left behind. So we can speak about high-end technologies. Of course, we are speaking about agri-food 5.0 or agricultural, 5.0 type of technologies. But still, we need to take care of all the farmers and food producers out there. So we bring really concrete solutions, and there are many different, starting from IoT, precision farming. Then we have traceability solutions, and of course, last but not least, artificial intelligence and machine learning. In a nutshell, we are speaking about data economy or data-driven technologies, which probably we will touch more often, but I didn't hear that much about data today. So that would be a short answer.
Okay, so thank you so much. So I'm going straight away to Gytis. Please continue on the Digital Innovation Hubs, European Digital Innovation Hubs. So what is the difference? Do you work with farmers also, or just with the SMEs from the agri-food sector and food manufacturing?
Yeah, hello, thank you for inviting us. And I think it's EDIG is for all of the companies. It's not farmers, not for the industry or something, because it's about a collaboration and knowledge between the digital area. It's about the data, about the computers, about everything, and also. So I think the main reason why the companies is coming to EDIG and they are the part of that is we are making them life easier to understand what is happening in the next couple of years. Because sometimes you know that the companies or farmers are afraid of the future because you don't know what is happening in the maybe 1, 2, or 5 years in the close future. So, and when they want to innovate something and have a digitalization area, they afraid everything. And that's sometimes you going with them, taking on the hand and said, okay, don't be afraid. The other companies, this collaboration between others, and said they was going through this way. So it's not so difficult or misunderstanding what you will do. So next time the companies is really going in the it's like braver in the future, and they're looking in the data area. Okay.
And Gytis, what kind of challenges you already are seeing, for example, for implementing digitalization into agri-food sector?
I think it's a lack of knowledge is what is happening and about the digitalization. It's really at this moment when you talk with the companies or farmers, you see that they are not. We are talking about Industry 4, Industry 5.0, and everything, but in their minds they are not thinking about Industry 5 because they don't understand what is Industry 5. They know that what is the summer, they know how it's growing, and they are not specialized or expertise in digitalization. I think that's the main reason. No, maybe someone.
Yeah.
We'll talk. Yeah. And I would like now to address Professor Vilma Kačiūnienė. I know you're working with the rural development, but at the same time, you were the one who inspired, and we're working a lot on the smart village concept in Lithuania. So tell us a little bit more how academia sees it, the possibilities, the opportunities for the rural areas, because what we're hearing still there are lots of challenges.
Yeah, we're working with a smart village development concept, but when we are thinking about smart development, we are not thinking just about digital technologies. We are thinking about systemic changes, about the coordination, about smart governance. So it means that it is more involvement, it's more bottom-up approach, and it's more deep changes with the coordination to more attention to the local economy, and resilience for these communities are coming from the local resources, and sustainable development, not just to use, but it means that they have to be recovered, have to be more, not less, if we are using. So another very important thing when I'm thinking about innovations, and thank you for the introduction. So I think in rural areas, in agriculture sector, not in the second place is social innovations. How to work with people, how to involve them in the decision systems. Otherwise, we never will get the transformation. And now we talk about values, personal values, but we have to talk about common values, so collective knowledge. And this is, I think it's very important if we want to change, to transform our economy to the sustainable place and sustainable approach we would like to keep. Another thing, I think it is very important. It is new strategies for the development, for the local development, for the regional development, and for this business development, agriculture development. So I mean short food supply chains, value chains, and I think special thing I didn't hear here about that. It is local food systems, regional food systems. We're just talking about global food systems, but global food systems, I am not sure that they can be sustainable. They can have some characteristics of sustainability, but it is already very difficult to keep the sustainability in the global systems. Just from the beginning about smart villages, but the concepts are coming from the smart cities, from the smart regions, from smart business.
So it's knowledge transfer
Yeah.
from what we're already using. So by now, what are the biggest challenges you are seeing for the rural areas to adopt those innovations?
As you already said, and it was said before, a lot of times it is cooperation, partnership, and of course it is already different types, different models for this cooperation. And I mean, when we are talking about the local development, regional development, more attention have to be paid to the endogenous resources and the competitiveness of these areas. And when we are talking about agriculture business, again, it is have to be based on endogenous resources, more based on endogenous resources. So I think this is very important.
Yeah, because for many times already it has been mentioned, and by Daniel in the beginning, that and Gabriela said that nobody needs to be left behind. But when we're talking about the small farmers, how can they implement the innovations and technology? What could be the biggest challenges?
The biggest challenges will be, of course, resources, and not financial sometimes, but it's social resources. Again, it is knowledge, how to act in this very changeable world. And of course, if we are thinking about the family farm, so it means that there is just 2, 3, or 4 persons, and it's very small amount of production. So it means that this production have to be unique, added value production. It is final production for the consumption. And another big challenge, I think, when we are talking about small and medium farms, that it is very important to choose a right strategy for the farm development. And we never can say that 1 hectare or 1 hour, it's not efficient farm. It depends from the strategy, what they are growing, what they process, what is their final production can be in this farm. And big challenge to understand that not just one model, for example, business to consumer can be developed. And big challenge that governance institutions, they have to understand that if we want to develop regional economy, we have to support region institutions and region businessmen. And it means that they have to buy local regional production for the schools, for the hospitals, and etc. So it means business to governance model is very important, business to business, consumer to consumer. So it's a lot of things. And this is the challenge to introduce this business models to real life.
So it's again, we're talking about short food value chains and implementing them into rural areas. And Daniel wanted to comment.
Yes, you know what I learned from Augustus, that you need to be a bit provocative. So I just want to respond to what we have been discussing today. You know what our biggest challenge is? Nobody is really listening to the farmers. I mean, nobody really thinks or hears what they are saying. And we think to believe, or we tend to believe, that we know what are the challenges. But these are our challenges, not theirs. If you go to the farmer, he has totally different motivations to change. And reading the mega trends and the way definitely the food systems will change rapidly. And then you look at the farmer, but the farmer doesn't have a problem. He's just fine with it. he doesn't have a problem. And we are saying that he needs to change. You know where is his problem? Bureaucracy with filling out papers and these kind of things. So I will not continue here, but definitely I would like to see more farmers involved. But of course, they don't have time because they have to work in the fields, right? So this is the challenge. The challenge is trust, because what we are telling them that they need to change, we are not working on trust, and they have to have trust in order to change. Okay. So it's 3 years ago we did a study on what are the challenges, and the result was knowledge and finances. But the problem was us, because we didn't know how to ask for the challenges. We gave them the options. Those are not the challenges. Now we know that the time, interdisciplinarity, the basic ability to adapt is lacking, or we don't understand it. And then we are asking for them to change, you know. So this is, I feel it's a challenge that we need to address.
Very good comment, Daniel. I was in one of the conferences, and by the way, it was the report done by OECD, where they actually said, let's talk to farmers. Let's not put our regulation on them. So you wanted, Gabriela, to comment also.
Yes, I couldn't agree more with Daniel. We need farmers in the room. I think, you know, I think all of us talk to farmers every day, and we think we know them, but actually it's, you know, them who need to tell us what they need. But I wanted to add also a bit of a cultural diversity perspective, because I think it's not the same what a European farmer needs that what an African farmer needs, or what an Asian farmer needs, or a Latin American farmer. And we tend to forget the smallholder farmers who have triple challenges more than maybe an European farmer. And we heard some of them that I think apply everywhere, which is the knowledge transfer, but the technology transfer is also a huge challenge, because we need to ensure that technology moves from where it's made or developed to where it's actually needed the most. So I think this technology transfer aspect is important, which goes hand in hand to the financial access, because if a smallholder farm in India doesn't have the money to buy even the smallest machine, then, you know, we cannot expect much progress. So I just wanted to add that cultural perspective.
Thank you, Gabriela, so much. I would like now to address Agla. So we've been talking about some challenges you're hearing, you're familiar, I know, with the food sector and agricultural sector. And when we are talking about, you know, just digitalization, but yourself, you're working in the food sector with the artificial intelligence, and you see the opportunities over there. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Yes, of course, we can also integrate artificial intelligence technologies as well, neuromarketing. So I do work mainly with food packages and how to enhance them. For instance, we do know that sustainability issues are very important, but also very important for our customers. They have to notice from packages very easily. So in other words, all these new solutions like neuromarketing technologies such as eye tracking or face recognition software and others can enable us easily to see through customer eyes. And moreover, if we do think about generative artificial intelligence, at the same time, different tools we can use to create innovative products. It means that if I'm a farmer, if I would like to offer a new product, I can easily use even ChatGPT or other solutions that already we do have, and easily I can offer new products to the market. At the same time, if I know some technologies, or, you know, if I can work with someone, we can also test it. So in other words, I don't need sometimes to run real research, but I can apply some already existing solutions that enables us to check or to make prototypes
prototypes of different products and to offer to the market, as well to be very quick, just satisfy their needs. So we can just easily collect their information over Google or even now ChatGPT because we change our behavior. So in other words, many solutions already we do have, especially with artificial intelligence.
And you mentioned data. I know there is certain way you're working with data and artificial intelligence. Could you tell us a little bit more?
Yes, we do have specific solution that enables us easily to predict and to play it around with your own data, different kind of data sets if you do have. And as well, it's like a new trend, synthetic data. So we just started to work with this. So I cannot comment a lot, but it's a future. So it saves our time. And it means that more solutions, more ensured solutions we can have in future. So we don't need to run real research sometimes and just to start with prototypes.
So Agla, as you're saying, so it comes up that it's easily artificial intelligence could be applied even to the small farmers. So does it mean, until now we were talking that we need reskilling, upskilling, new competencies, does it mean that it gets easier to work with artificial intelligence?
Yes, but of course we do need to ensure their digital skills. Of course, but it's very easy to work with, so I can guarantee that. But of course, there's a need like a basics. And but when you start to look at, when you can discover all these things, you can understand it's much easier to reach your customers if you use these kind of technologies. And as far as I know, that even at our university, they do provide specific trainings for others, like a short trainings where you can get some insights or also hands-on experience with all these technologies you can easily apply in your daily basis.
Thank you so much. Oh, please.
I just want to add, yeah, it's not so easy. And we made research about decision support systems, and decision support systems have to be created by scientists, practitioners, and etc. And what we found out that we made review and we found 177 decision support systems. We made map and etc. But the problem is that all these models more connecting with the huge, big farms. And they are not very transportable to the small and medium farms. Yeah, artificial intelligence, it's okay, but as it was said, that we have to keep in mind that we have to know the technologies, characteristics. We have to ask this artificial intelligence to create something. Otherwise, again,
and I really like asking. So how do you see, for example, Professor, what could be done to make it more simple and adaptable to those smaller farmers and small SMEs? Because these are the ones who are being left. What is needed?
What is needed? Of course, knowledge. But again, it is communication. It is integration to the, how to say, bigger communities, and of course support from rural communities. They can make big support for how to implement, how to advertise, how to demanding these things and etc. So again, new generations. So new young generation. This can be very supportable for farms.
Thank you so much. And Gabriela, I would like to turn to you. You have quite a vast experience in working with the agri-food sector, with international organizations. So now you're working in the private sector. So how do you see maybe what kind of foundation could be laid out, collaborating and making those technologies more implementable and more available?
Yes, I mean, we talked a lot about collaboration today, and this is fundamental because we are not going to achieve food security working in silos. we are not going to achieve the climate goals doing the same things we were doing, and we are not going to help farmers doing, things individually. So somebody said today that the private sector has the technology for innovation, so that's our role. Governments need to ensure that the right policies are there to support that ecosystem, and international organizations play a fundamental role putting everybody together and ensuring that whatever happens in one country is translated into others, like the role the OECD has, for example, nudging policies. So I think we really need to build that ecosystem of private sector, including also academia, civil society, governments, and international organizations if we want to move this forward. And I think, if I may, I wanted to briefly add to what was just mentioned about, access to technology and youth, because I think this is a fundamental player that needs to be incorporated, because they are the change agents, right? And a lot of farmers I was talking to were telling me that their children did not want to follow and take over the farm. But then when they started seeing cool things like drones and these technologies, and they changed their minds. And the problem again, when we talk about, for example, Africa, is that they don't even have access to internet in many places. So how do we even start thinking about artificial intelligence? And we are working in support of a program with an organization called Generation Unlimited that is basically creating what we call agripreneurs in Kenya. So it's working with young people to ensure that they understand that agriculture is more than just survival, that they can become entrepreneurs, that they can use technology. And there is a very cool app that actually does not require access to internet. So they can start selling and sharing knowledge with this kind of technology. So hopefully that is the beginning to eventually be able to, allow them to use the coolest things like AI and so on.
Thank you so much. And I would like to come back still to all those technological trends, and because, well, Green Deal is out, right? So it's like Gabriela said, there is no choosing either, because you're just gonna be left behind and thrown away out of the market. So what are technology trends which could succeed for the smaller farms or SMEs, the smaller ones working in the agri-food sector?
Wow. We will miss dinner probably. How to put it simple? Let's take agriculture. We have two ways of trending. How to make existing agriculture more efficient, and then new food sources and so on. I will not focus on that. So let's make agriculture more efficient. There you have a set of technology trends which we all know. I will not repeat it, starting from precision farming, IoT, traceability, transparency, robotics, and autonomous systems, right? And then wrapping up with artificial intelligence and machine learning. And now I said it. So these are the trends, or these are the technologies, or groups of technologies. Now, what, for instance, can be done, and so not to leave small ones behind or small farmers behind. Currently, we are working on. We have developed a precision farming solution deployed at the agricultural advisory, because this is the proxy that builds on trust. And it's historically, culturally, as there are cultural differences, that is, but I totally agree. So we apply this service to the agricultural advisory, and they can apply precision farming using the precision farming techniques. Now, the artificial intelligence, and what we are working right now is to teach models, even if you have a certain lack of data sets, with the basic earth observation technologies, which is it has nothing to do with the farmer, we can just prepare machinery data to be uploaded to their machines. Okay, the challenge is the machine, but still it's very low cost solutions out there which you can apply even to a small farm, for instance. So these kind of like practical, trendy and easygoing solutions that even solve those smart problems with bureaucracy, with even working on calendars, what they do and how they apply. These kind of things are somehow important for us. Now, trends, of course. Everything is around artificial intelligence and machine learning. I was just giving you one example where we don't leave out small ones. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Well, I turn now to Gytis. So if you were asked from the startups, so which direction now to choose if they want to go to the smart agriculture, what kind of technologies they would be working with?
It's startup for the IT technologies?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because the farmer starter is the other way. I don't know, really, it's more important about the technologies and which way they must go, and like a startup and everything. They must understand what it needs for the farmers, like was Daniel talking about, that farmers don't need nothing at all because they need just after that, when they know that they are late in the life. So I think when the startups understand what the farmers needs daily job, when they help the daily, because sometimes we can talk about like future artificial intelligence, but when you see the old farmer and he is putting your phone and calling for you, it's about 10 years ago was the phone. See, he can't be like a more in the technology area, more innovator. Yeah. So I think the startups must understand that innovators and the farmers in the markets are just 3% of all the market. So you must find these 3% and to create them, and through them you will go, but you must understand what the daily needs them. I think that's the most important, and the market is going through that way. So.
Well, talking about the needs, today we have heard in many discussions that in order to transform agri-food ecosystem, we need to change the mindset. So, Egle, what's about the consumer behavior? How can we, I don't know, change it with the help of AI or not? Or
maybe I can start with an example, because I just recently received a new request about insects. So even we do know that it's very useful for us to eat this kind of food, but we are not ready for that. So what to do? So in general, we have to educate at first our customers. So in order to educate, especially younger generation, we need also new technologies, because our attention are quite short and dispersed and fragmented. And there's an option very easily, if you can have like VR solution where you can see insects, how they have the tiny farms. When we can create these kind of products, they experience this process differently, because even you cannot go to insects farm because it's impossible for some other issues, as far as I know. So for customers, in order to educate them, so we can integrate all these solutions. I mean, new ones like technologies, as I said, because I'm working with neuromarketing ones, so I know that when you can enable someone just to experience and to use their solution, we can easily detect how they look at insects and how to enhance all these products in order to get their attention, and also in the end just to sell it. So as far as I know, they struggle with all these products because we have to have a matured customers. So in other words, we need to educate them. And here, all new technologies, even generative artificial intelligence solutions, are really good, I would say, tools for us
just to create also materials, how to educate, but at the same time, the delivery time to ensure different delivery format of these kind of activities.
Thank you so much. Very interesting. Yeah, Gytis, please.
I have just one opinion about that. We are talking about two different areas. It's one area for the farmers who is growing up something and creating, and the second who has a product and sell.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is a different areas, and we can talk about that. And one more thing, that I think the small farmers can't educate anything because they just need to work. And what they are afraid, first of all, when I asked what you are afraid in like 1 year, they said, I'm afraid of the big buyers from me, the big markets. If they look at me and they said, I want to buy, what I will do next, my step, I'm crushed. At that moment, I really have a big problems because no digital, no manufacturing, no nothing at all. I just can make 10 boxes per day and that's all my business. So that is, I think, two different areas what we are talking about. So, sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. Okay, well, unfortunately, we are running out of time. We cannot go longer because it's the end of the day. But for the ending of the panel discussion, I would like to ask, now, we've been talking about artificial intelligence, lab-produced meat. Then we are coming back talking about the small farmers. So what is the future actually for the rural areas, for the small farmers, for the small SMEs, and how can we help with the innovative regional development? So please, I'm going to start from Professor Vilma.
Yeah. So we have to think about living labs, for example, yeah, about living organizations. So it means, again, we are looking from the different aspects. We have to think more about collective decisions, about collective values, and it have to be implemented in real life. For example, we have a lot of institutions, local action groups, flags, and etc., community organizations, but they are just looking for the narrow functions. And the multifunctionality, it is again very big step, and we have to think about that. When we talk about production, we have to talk about product plus service. We cannot look just product and no else more. So I think it's just, minding. We have to think differently. How?
Yeah. Thank you, Gabriela.
So I'd like to go back to the basics because, we need to remember that today we need to produce more food, but the time of expanding arable land is over, right? We have less and less, sometimes because this is the policy, like in the case of the EU, sometimes because climate change is actually affecting the arable land. So technology is needed, but it needs to deliver this sustainable productivity growth, which means to grow more food in a resilient way for the planet, but also in a resilient way for the farmer who needs to survive and thrive. So this is where I was listening to all this very interesting debate, and I retain one concept, which is data is power, information is power, right? So they need information, they need to know what's coming. Sometimes, for example, going to my field, a pest that used to come once a year now comes 3 times a year because of climate. So they need to know. So this is linked to the transfer of technology and the transfer of financial resources so that everybody is actually on the same page and can continue growing food.
Thank you. Daniel.
Yes, that's a very good question that you're concluding this session. Basically, this is what we want to build. I strongly believe that we need to have those local ecosystems that are resilient. I strongly believe in local food production and distribution. So what we have a living lab, which we are also registered at the European Network of Living Labs, and we are piloting the consumer engagement and other approaches. So we strongly believe, and this is also our mission in a way, to build a local ecosystem around multi-actor approach. So all the actors on local or regional basis are collaborating together in order to create sustainable food systems in a wider term, in the widest possible sense, starting from agriculture, food processing, food production, and of course also engaging consumers and following the consumers' needs.
Thank you so much, Gytis.
I forgot the question, but I have another answer. We didn't mention that we are all the time about growing and not enough food and everything. We are talking about that, but I want to talk about. I want to just short one about food waste. And there is a statistic that if we had food waste about 10% less, so about 50 million people can eat more. Yeah. So I think we must understand in that area, because we all the time we want to produce and everything, making more, but in the other area, what we are doing, and we are wasting of time and food in that area. So that is, I think, one of the reason and one of the thing that we must talk in the near future, what to do with that.
Thank you. And Agla, concluding on you.
My final note is that we have to always remember our customers. So even related to food waste issues or even greenwashing and other, I think the most important thing that we have to create food and guarantee that they do want it. If they do not want it, so we have to create that they do want. So this is my final note. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the panelists.